The American dream of owning a mobile home.
Well, I bought a home here and moved in because I used to deliver Meals on Wheels and also was a senior patrolman and was familiar with the mobile home parks. I was not unhappy that I moved here. It's a very nice place and very nice people.
Mobile homes allow homeowners to downsize and keep their independence of home ownership.
My sister passed away on Christmas Eve, 2009. 12 days later, my mom passes away. And then 24 days after that, I'm told I'm being laid off. So, you know, you talk about a chain of events. It's like, what's next? And whatever it is, who cares? This is where we turn to. We're blessed that we have this.
The biggest decision for us to move in this area was because we had family here. We have 3 adult children and grandkids and now great-grandkids that we wanted to live close by, and this just seemed to fit us because it was inexpensive compared to a regular brick and mortar home, and yet we've turned it around and made one.
My husband was having some health problems and we wanted to get near the VA hospital. So we moved up from the desert. And my sister was living in a mobile home park in Huntington Beach, and when I visited her, I went through it and I thought, I can do this. It's something small enough that you can have all your possessions and precious items there, and yet you can still handle the yard with whatever flowers you plant. And the fact that it was close to everything, that if it got to the point that I couldn't drive anymore, then I could walk.
Home improvements and landscaping projects give mobile homeowners house pride.
The basic condition of the home was good. However, we have improved it over and over again.
All of these walls except this bedroom and this bathroom. And I've tiled the breakfast nook corner, put in new countertop and sink.
Has there ever been a time when you're not working on a project?
No, not really. No, we're always working on one project or another.
This is what it looked like. We've put on new siding, we've put in double pane windows, put in flooring, we've plastered all the walls, we've painted, we've even added on an extra room and 2 rooms, paint room for me because I like to paint, and an extra bedroom. Show you my backyard. See, this is our property line, so we've redone the yard. It was overgrown and probably 20 years old and hadn't been attended to, and we came in and took out the rock and put in grass and made it more like a regular home.
Mobile homes are manufactured housing units that are not easily movable once they're set in place.
It's always been called mobile home parks. After a while they realized they're not mobile really because you don't put tires on them. Once they've been on stanchions, they're really a manufactured home that sits on a piece of property.
If there was some way we could eliminate the mobile, it would be a much more fitting name because there isn't anything mobile in it.
Mobile homeowners appreciate the camaraderie and friendship of their neighbors.
We have friends, we have neighbors, then we have all the camaraderie of a village and a community that's very close-knit.
We do have a nice clubhouse, it's well kept, and we have a lot of activities going on. There's a social club and there's a homeowners association that has events, and we have guest speakers come in like Marjorie Pierce and and the mayor has been here, and we have other speakers from government come. So it's a very active participation in the clubhouse. And of course, we also have potluck dinners and bingo and other things of that nature.
We have a very active social life here in the park.
I'm generally in charge of the potatoes and the sausage, and I cook those. And we keep 2 ovens going, and I try to get over here about 7 o'clock in the morning, heat up the ovens, then we get started and try to get a lot of food out there to begin with, because we're not supposed to start by 9, but at least half a dozen people are always chomping at the bit by the time, before 9, so we sometimes start a little early.
We have card games at the clubhouse. We have bingo every week at the clubhouse. We have social gatherings, at least one major social gathering with over 100 residents at that dinner once a month. She's Rudy Tudor. How you doing, Giz?
I haven't lived any place since I was a child where people are as close as they are in these communities. They all look out for each other. Everybody knows everybody else's health issues and keeps an eye on everybody. We share meals. If somebody cooks a pot of beef stew, you can count on the fact that somebody's going to bring you some. And if anybody bakes a cake, we're all going to get a piece. It's an amazing group of people.
There are more than a dozen mobile home parks in Oceanside.
Let me count them. See, there's Rancho San Luis Rey. The next largest would be the one over on Lake. I'm having trouble remembering the name of it right now. Then there's this park and Cavalier down off of Oceanside Boulevard. There are the 2 smaller ones up at the corner of Douglas and El Camino Real, Mission View Manor and Mission View West. There's Trico.
It's a senior park, and it has remained a senior park, and there's about 8 senior parks in the city. And there are a number of other mobile home parks. I've been to, probably 12 of them. This one happens to be full of a lot of elderly people. Fortunately, we have some good managers here and owners, and they understand everything, and we're getting along pretty well together.
Park owners set rules and regulations that have a big impact on the quality of life for park residents.
We have 433 resident spaces, and this particular park has the largest spaces. If you go to some of the others, you'll see how close they are in proximity to each other. Our managers know the rules and regulations, and they follow them. When they retire, they want to live here, and so they want to be friends and congenial with everybody, and to me, that's part of family. There are some parks that the common grounds need attention. There are some that the managers are not following the registered rules and regulations, and so it makes a little bit of a difference.
We buy this place, and we live on a little patch of land that's owned by the owners of the park, and we do our own upkeep. Everything is done by us, and including the taxes we pay on it, and we pay a decent rent, and it's as you know, it's kind of government controlled about how much we pay and how much is raised.
Homeowners have a unique relationship with park owners. They own their homes but pay space rents set by park owners. In the 1980s, the Oceanside City Council passed a rent control ordinance to ensure park space rents are kept at a fair price.
The only reason we have rent control here in Oceanside is because before we had it, back in the 80s, 2 of the parks allowed people to buy homes in brand new parks, move in, and then they doubled the space rents after the homes were in place, and then they redoubled them. And they forced all but about 13 people out, and the parks got the homes. And so the rent control laws were put into place because these are a monopoly. These parks are a monopoly according to the courts. And the reason is because in Oceanside, you must have a mobile home in a park. You can't be on a vacant lot, so that makes us captive customers of the park.
In 2011, City Council voted in vacancy decontrol, which ended rent control. Citizens protested the change, and the item was placed on the June 2012 ballot.
We have all the mobile home parks that are very disappointed and don't want to have to move out of their homes. Basically, it's going to throw everybody out.
Well, my name is Amy Epston. I am 4th generation in my family business, and we own mobile home parks. We own Mission View Manor and Mission View West. I've just joined family business since graduating college almost 3 years ago. So we, are property owners and we support property rights and just are here for fairness. Passed decontrol and then the residents got a referendum qualified. So basically the council has 2 options. One, to just repeal it altogether, which we obviously hope they don't do. And the other is to put it on the June election. And we definitely want them to put it on the June election, because taxpayers have already paid over $3 million for rent control, so we think that it should be their choice to vote on the issue.
We were in front of all the stores, Walmart, Stater Brothers, everywhere we could be with petitions, and we got 15,484 signatures to stop vacancy decontrol. And unfortunately, the council majority still voted to place it on the ballot rather than repealing it, which would have cost the city nothing.
People who choose a mobile home or a manufactured home as a residence will lose the predictability of what may happen to their rents in the future. And then for the current resident, I lose some asset out of my mobile home because I can't tell a buyer what their rent will be when they move in, and then there's no predictability what their rent would be going forward.
Now we have no choice but to go back out again and do the same thing all over again. And these are seniors that have health issues. We've got 80-year-old people that are willing to sit for hours in chairs just to get their story out to the public and to the voters.
I didn't realize I had the activist in me. You can't deal with elderly people like this. It frightens them. They're unsure of what their future is. I am too. But I'm just one of those that I'm not going to just fold up and pull the covers over my head. I'm going to do something about it as best I can.
Councilman Jerry Kern believes vacancy decontrol is a good thing.
I brought it forward because I think basically rent control is wrong. We live in a market economy, and I think rent control is never worked. So I brought this forward, but I also brought it forward in a way that it didn't harm the people in the park now, because it gradually goes away. Vacancy decontrol is exactly what it says it is. When the unit becomes vacant, the current owner moves out, then that unit is removed from rent control. So upon vacancy, it is decontrolled. But it does tell people that are living there they get to keep rent control as long as they live in the park. So they can keep it for 20 years and still be under rent control as long as they live in the park. They don't have to. Their rent's not going to go up any more than under the current ordinances, which is the 3/4 of the CPI each year.
Our park owners have millions of dollars to fight this issue on their side. All we have is the truth and our people. And I do think that people know the truth when they hear it, and that's hopefully what's going to let us prevail.
The family who owned this park naturally would probably like to get a little more money, and because everybody wants to get more money in today's society. But we're doing very well here at this time, and I hope it remains that way.
I feel we have the American dream here. We have taken what was a little bit of something and we've made a home out of it. I don't know of how I would make a home any homier if it were a stick and mortar somewhere.
We've owned 2 new homes in our lifetime. So if you want to say that's the American dream, then we've lived the American dream. Now that we're on the last part of our life, my wife will be retiring in 3 months, that this is our dream.
This fulfills our American dream of home ownership by having our own niche.
The hope of mobile homeowners is that vacancy decontrol will be defeated.
Right now, it's going to go to the voters on June the 5th. And all it is to uphold the change that the council made in having vacancy decontrol. So that the voters will say yes, and it's called Proposition E, whether they will have vacancy decontrol or we stay in the same system we are now.
They've got to understand that, especially in the senior parks, there are a lot of elderly people, and they've lived their life, a lot of them the greatest generation, and we worked our way through life, and we've enjoyed life naturally, and we enjoy living in this community, in the life we're leading, and we know there are a lot more years behind us than we're going to have in front of us, but we enjoy each other's companionship and company, and we have the same likes and dislikes with our age, and most of our best friends are doctors now. They just want to live in peace and quiet with a few remaining years they have, and that's what they're trying to do.